Well, as noted, House members will this morning meet to debate a resolution approving the continuance of COVID-19 emergency powers. As the Prime Minister explained during yesterday's press briefing, the plan is to extend those powers by another 8 days to April 8th. Well, funding to fight COVID-19 that could benefit small island nations like the Bahamas discussed by the United Nations. It's a wide-range initiative that could help countries bounce back from the effects of this pandemic. Representing the Bahamas during those telesessions is Ambassador and Permanent Representative to the UN, Her Excellency Sheila Carey.
The Secretary General has been active in helping to lead the global response to COVID-19. He has called on world leaders to come together and offer an urgent and coordinated response to this global crisis. And on 25th March, the UN launched a global humanitarian response plan for $2 billion to assist the most vulnerable countries. This three-part action plan includes first tackling the health emergency, second placing focus on the social impact and the economic response and recovery, third and finally prioritizing the responsibility to recover better, to ensure that countries do not lose the developmental gains they made prior to this crisis. The Secretary General has also appealed for a global ceasefire and called for a stand against increasing hate crimes targeting people perceived to be associated with spreading the coronavirus.
The ambassador notes that the Bahamas is also a member of the Alliance of Small Island States. This body lobbies for assistance at the UN level and is once again seeking support in the fight against COVID-19.
The UNDP affirmed its readiness to support small states in urgently and effectively responding to COVID-19. UNDP will both promote and implement a response that supports countries to face the challenges beyond the health sector, to both limit the spread of COVID-19 and to mitigate the potentially devastating impact it may have on vulnerable populations and economies. UNDP assistance covers every facet of the fight: the preparation, the response, and the recovery. An example of this could be, in conjunction with other agencies, assisting governments with the procurement of needed equipment and medicines and other supplies, and providing advice, guidance, and other logistical support. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is in discussions with UNDP to see how it can assist the Bahamas.
Well, with local borders closed, a number of Bahamians are stranded in parts of the United States. Close to home, dozens of them are in South Florida and the Atlanta districts. Consul General in Miami, Florida, Linda Trico-Mackey says her office has extended assistance.
We have registered approximately 50 Bahamians who are now displaced throughout our jurisdiction. However, with our limited resources, we are assisting them on a case-by-case basis. Much consideration is being given to all who are displaced. Some accommodations, others a listening ear, and encouragement to those who are just simply concerned about what tomorrow brings. We will not be able to help all, as they may deem necessary, but we are doing our best to respond to their basic needs. Our switchboard and emergency numbers are all utilized, including our personal cell phones. And for those who have loved ones, we want you to be assured that we are here to serve, and your family is our family.
The border closure also impacting Bahamians in Cuba. After all, a number of them traveled to the island for medical and educational reasons. And while some of them returned home recently, Ambassador His Excellency Brent Dean says Bahamians remain on the island and his office is reaching out to them.
For those that remain in Cuba, whether they are students, persons receiving medical care, or others, we continue to monitor our telephone lines and our email communications. Additionally, we communicate with Bahamians in Cuba and their family members via WhatsApp groups to provide timely feedback regarding the COVID situation that changes rapidly day by day. The closing of Bahamian borders made this aspect of the Bahamian government's commitment to safeguarding the well-being of the Bahamians more critical. The comprehensive border closure put Bahamians seeking to return home in an extremely difficult position, but this was unavoidable, given the unprecedented health crisis being experienced by the global community and the unprecedented actions required in the face of this challenge.
According to the ambassador, the Bahamian office will also have to reach out to the Cuban government for assistance at various levels.
As best as possible to ameliorate the situation confronting Bahamians. We are here to communicate information to Bahamians regarding measures implemented by the Bahamian and Cuban governments, assist in contacting loved ones in the Bahamas, make available a small amount of financial support to cover meals and accommodations if someone is experiencing financial hardship, intervene with the Cuban authorities to get extensions of visas or immigration stays so there are no penalties applied, assist in facilitating the procurement of supplies in compliance with measures imposed by the Cuban government, to request permission from the Cuban government to facilitate the provision of supplies to Bahamian students and other nationals in provinces other than Havana.
Coming up, a red letter day for the Royal Bahamas Police Force. The Minister of National Security joins us live as COVID-19 impacts the historic handover. You're watching The Morning Edition. Stay with us.